Welcome to a new video on my channel, and this is going to be another Temu review video. So previously I looked at a very simple Zigbee switch which I ordered from Temu, and then the second product is well, this is not home automation related because this is a wireless AndroidAuto or wireless CarPlay display unit for a car. So I have AndroidAuto and CarPlay, the wired ones, in my main, family car. But in my City Runner, that was just a factory installed phone holder. And I thought that's going to be enough. But then the lazy me basically just said, maybe I can, buy something like a dedicated display, which is wireless, so I don't have to plug in the phone every time. And that was the main reason why I chose this product. So in summary, this is a wireless, either AndroidAuto or CarPlay, so it supports both of them, display that you can put on the dashboard, and then it wirelessly connects to your phone, and then it displays navigation, music, podcast, whatever that application you have on your phone. So, and it does it wirelessly, so I can just get into the car. I don't have to take the phone out, and because it's a city car, I usually don't take the phone out anyway because I'm doing shorter distances. I don't usually charge the phone because, well, for that 15-20 minutes I don't really need to. So it is really a convenience factor. And on top of it, this has a built-in dash cam, so it records my journeys as well, and it saves it on an SD card. And also the other reason I chose this, there were a couple of different models on Temu, is that it has a lot of audio integration options. So I wasn't really sure which one I'm going to use in my car, but it has so many different options. It has built-in speakers if you want to use that. You can use the car's Bluetooth audio in order to listen to the audio or navigation instructions, that sort of stuff. Or it can also have an FM transmitter, so if you have a really old car, you can use that as well. And also it has an aux output. So again, if you have like let's say an aftermarket car stereo which has an aux input, you can just connect the two together, and then you can listen to either music or your navigation instructions on on your car stereo or the car speakers. And on top of that, it's just like, it's like a big, nice display, definitely bigger than your phone. And also this wide screen is so interesting in terms of how much real estate you have, either for navigation or also for navigation and let's say another application, like let's say your Spotify music or your podcast. And then both of them can be on the same screen because there is just enough screen real estate. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, the things I do like and I don't so much like about this product. Also going to do a little bit of like, how the phone navigation works, the dashcam functionality, also the mounting options. And then later on, I'm also going to include the unboxing video so you can see everything that comes in a box. And I also recorded my initial setups where I've gone through all the settings and everything. That's a little bit longer section, but if you really want to dive into the details, then you can see how each of these options, how they look like, and also what it took me to set up this unit initially. And this is the first time I'm using wireless AndroidAuto, and to be honest, if I could do it, you can probably do that, especially if you look at that part of the video. And as usual, if you are interested in this particular product, there is going to be a separate purchase links in the video description. If you are not registered to Temu, there is going to be another link in the video description where you can register, and you get €100 credit when you register. So you have some extra money that you can spend on either this device or something else. So, okay, I think first let me start with the pros. So I already mentioned this large screen. So when I looked at the listing and I actually gone to my car and I took out the tape measure, so I thought maybe the screen is going to be a little bit too big, but actually it is not. I mean, from my sitting position, I can just look above the screen, so it's not really obstructing my view. But it is definitely a big screen, 10.2 inches. I mean, it's a very wide screen, so it's not really comparable to your phone. But as I said, it's a really nice big real estate. There is a lot of room, there is a lot of definition, even though the definition is not HD. So I think it's 160 by 900 pixels, But when you look at it, everything is sharp. There is enough details. You don't see the pixels. The screen brightness is good enough so you can see it at sunshine, daylight. There is no issues with that. So I'm pretty happy with the screen. Also, the response is nice. You know, if you want to, you know, pan around in the navigation, you can do that. The response feels good. And for that reason, you know, I really like it. And you're going to, and you know, you can see the footage on the left, but I really like the fact that the screen is so large that, let's say if I'm on navigation and I select either Spotify or a podcast app, then the split screens, the screen splits like 1/3 and the 2/3, and the 2/3, which is, let's say, the navigation, and 1/3 is the music. So the music section is still enough so you can use the main controls on the screen, but then the 2/3 for the navigation is, again, it's enough that you can still see, you know, like the destination, the turning lanes, and there is enough place left on the screen so you can still, you know, look well ahead in your journey, so you know what is coming up, intersections, you know, the next turn and that sort of stuff. I had this issue when I was using my smaller iPhone on a portrait mode, that there was really not enough screen. I could only see, like, say, the next 50 meters. I couldn't really tell where the next turn is, but definitely there is no issues with that screen. And of course, because it uses wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, it's you know, it's a convenience factor. So on my other card, I have wired Android Auto and CarPlay. So that's a factory installed built into the car, and so I got used to using these and, you know, using Waze navigation, and everything is nice. But again, you have to get your phone out, you have to find the cable, you have to plug it in. Not to mention that in our household, I have an Android phone. My wife has an iPhone. And although she upgraded to iPhone 15 now, which has USB-C, but previously I had USB-C, she had Lightning, so we ended up only using her phone because it would be just too messy to swap cables. But of course now this is not a problem because everything is wireless. Maybe the only problem is that you now need to find a different, if you want to charge your phone, you have to find a different, you know, cable and the plug, maybe a socket lighter connection in order to you know, power the phone separately. But as I said, I usually don't do that because we do shorter commute, shorter drives, and I just don't plug the phone in for that shorter period of time. The built-in dash cam is a nice feature because I was thinking about getting a dash cam for this car. I have a dash cam in my other car. Not that I really needed to do it, use it for anything like in evidence in accidents or anything like that. But I think it's a nice to have just in case you need to record something. And this unit also comes with a reversing camera, which actually I used when I was setting it up and testing it, but I haven't ended up installing it. So if you don't want to install it, just, you know, don't install it. Nothing is going to happen. The only thing I would note about this dash cam is that obviously because the you know, the screen is on your dashboard, your dash cam is not really high enough. So you will see some of the sample footage that about 1/3 of the picture is just recording the dashboard because, I mean, it's fairly low down. I mean, in my other car, I have a dedicated dash cam, which is mounted behind the rear view mirror. So that has a much better view of the outside. There is hardly any dashboard in the view, just you know, a little bit of border at the end. So it has much better visibility of the road ahead. But you can't really do anything about it. It's all about mounting. So I guess if you're using this in a lorry or in a van, which usually have a higher dashboard and not so much bonnet, then it would be better. But for a regular car, that's just the way it is. But again, it sort of comes free with the camera, so I can't really complain. And lastly, the other pros that I wanted to say is that the audio options. So I specifically choose this model because I wasn't really sure how I'm going to connect it to my main audio. Because, well, first of all, it has 4 different ways how you can listen to your screen or your, let's say, navigation. So it has built-in speakers. So that's the default option, which is good because the speakers are, you know, quite tinny. It doesn't have a great sound, but if you're primarily using it for navigation, then it is good enough. So you can it is definitely loud enough, and then you can hear the navigation, instructions, even though the sound quality is not great, but for speech and that sort of stuff is great. If you want to use it to also listen to music, well, the built-in speakers are not going to be the great option, but at least you have the speakers. If you only want to listen to navigation, then on the car you can have the radio running, and then it's just going to speak over the radio. So I think that's also a good option. The other option is that what I'm using at the moment is that my phone is also connected to the main Bluetooth of the radio. So all the navigation and, let's say, Spotify music is coming through the main audio system of the car, and then I just use this AndroidAuto just for the just to the display, and that works great, because then I can use the the built-in speakers in a car, so which definitely has much more audio quality, much better audio quality. So listening to music is fine, and of course the navigation instructions gets overlaid over the music. The third option is it has also a built-in FM transmitter. So if you have a really old car which doesn't have Bluetooth or anything like that, you can use that. So you can tune that into a specific FM station, and on the car you can just select that FM station and you can hear your navigation instructions or Spotify. So that's a great option as well. And again, you don't have to do wiring, because then you just place it and then that's it. You use as configure the FM station, and yeah, you're good to go. So the fourth option is the aux output. So this is a normal 3.5mm jack output. There is a cable provided in the box, and you can just connect it to the aux input of your main stereo. So most cars, especially like older cars, usually had an aux input for external MP3 players or phones or CD players or whatnot. And also if you have an aftermarket stereo, they usually have aux input as well. You might have to figure out how you can lay the wires, so maybe have the wiring in the dash so it's not in the way, but yeah, definitely you can do that, and that option is supported by this device. So that would be the four main options, or sorry, the four main pros which really stand out, because I think it is it's a good device. So let me talk about the cons, and they are not a big things, but these are the things that stand out for me after let's say about 1.5 or 2 weeks using this device. So the first of all is that when you are in the main navigation screen, sorry, either on the AndroidAuto or the Apple CarPlay screen, then there is a soft button overlaid on the center left part of the screen, and when you click there, then there is like a soft overlay menu where you can set the brightness and also the volume, and how you can go back to the main menu. And the reason I don't like that, because that's where your main app icons are, also in AndroidAuto and also in Apple CarPlay. So basically both systems usually show like 3 icons there on the left, and you can't use the middle icon, because if you press on it, this soft menu comes up. You can't really access whatever function is under that. So that's a little bit stupid. I don't know why they had to place it there. Why is it not in the center right? And I couldn't find any option in the menu which would allow you to reposition that soft menu. So that's just a little bit annoying. Like if you want to use, if you need to use that middle button there, now you have to use the main navigation to go into your sort of like app screen and select the application there. So I mean, it's just a little bit cumbersome. I can't believe that they haven't really figured out the best way when they were testing this device. So this is just stupid. The next one, again, it could be specific to this issue could be specific to my scenario, because as I said, we are in the family, we are using one Android phone and one iPhone as well. And what I noticed that once you select either the AndroidAuto mode or the Apple CarPlay mode, then the device will remember what the mode was, and it would just expect like either the Android phone or the Apple phone to be connected to it. So if my wife was using that in CarPlay mode, and if I get into the car, it wouldn't switch to my Android phone. So in the menu, I have to select that, okay, now I want to use Android Auto. It's going to pop up a screen, say, do you want to switch to Android Auto mode now? And I say, okay, then it works. But then, and if I, use the car next time, it just works immediately. But again, my wife is using the car, then she has to do the same thing again to switch between the modes. So that's, again, a little bit limitation in the software. I can't believe that they wouldn't be able to, modify the code so that it looks at the phone and then, based on the phone name, it would remember whether it needs to be an Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Just like in any normal head unit, when you plug in the phone, it knows whether it needs to launch the CarPlay or the Android Auto. If you have Android phones, only Android phones, or Apple devices, then again, this probably is not going to be an issue for you. And yeah, I mean, again, it's a little bit just stupid. It's a little bit inconvenience, but well, that's what I learned by using this device. The third thing is not really related to this app, the device itself, but what I noticed in this bigger screen, let's say also in the main navigation, Android Auto, or even CarPlay navigation, and also in the Waze navigations, the buttons tend to be fairly small. So, and maybe it's down to the resolution of the screen, or maybe this white format is not really designed well in these applications. But as I said, in my other car, I have a much, let's say, smaller 7-inch touchscreen, and on that screen the buttons are bigger, so it is easier to click on buttons. So for example, I usually use the functionality how I can place a notification in Waze or an alert that there is a broken down vehicle or there is an accident. So you have to push that button first, and then it pops up the menu whether you want to do like a hazard or a weather event or something else. So that button to push, it's really small, so you have to just sort of pay attention, just look at the screen a little bit longer in order to push that button than I would like to do otherwise. So again, it takes a little bit more attention from you while driving in order to operate the screen. I mean, normally when you use the navigation, it's not a big deal, but these small buttons, changing between application, those icons, I think it would be nice if they would be a little bit bigger. And the last thing is, and probably this is the least of the issues, is that this unit also has a built-in time, date and time, which it uses to put a timestamp on the dashcam recordings. And I have set that time many times, and then whenever I use the car next time, that time just resets. And I think it probably resets by a set amount of hours. So it appears that it has a built-in time zone, and then that time zone just somehow resets the time. But every time I try to set my local time, it works, and then next time when I start the car, then the time is again off by 6 hours or 7 hours or something like that. So I don't know, maybe there is something in the firmware where they hard coded some, I don't know, Far Eastern time zone, and that just messes up the local time. Again, the only impact it has that the overlay on the recordings and also the file timestamp would have a wrong time, which is, I mean, it's not going to bother. I mean, probably you will see some of the sample footage, then the time says like 10 p.m., but it's clearly, a daytime, and, the sun is out. So it is obviously wrong, and it looks like that it's obvious, it's always wrong by the same set amount of time. So something wrong in the code which causes this. It's not a big issue. I can live with that. I don't mind. So I think I already mentioned quite a lot about the phone navigation, the dashcam functionality, and all the little bits of things that I wanted to mention about each of these functions. Lastly, I just wanted to take a couple of words about the mounting. So this unit, when you look at the unboxing section, you will see that it comes with a small stand, which has a big base, and then there is like a double-sided tape provided for that base, so you can just double-sided use the double-sided tape to fix it on your top of your dashboard, and that stand is connected to the back of the device, and then you can just do a little bit of rotation side to side and up and down, and then you fix it. So what I ended up doing is that I removed that complete mount, which is fixed to the dash cam with 4 small screws. And in my car, as I said, there is like a factory installed phone holder on the top of the dashboard, and I was able to take, so that phone holder comes in 2 different parts, and when I took these 2 parts apart, there was like a mounting interface on the sort of like the stand, which clips onto the top of the dashboard. So I was able to print a 3D printed adapter between the the factory holder and also the back of this dash cam, or the back of this display. So I have it in a fixed position, it's fixed to the dashboard, it doesn't rattle, and it only took me like an hour to draw it up, and then 3 hours to print it on the 3D printer. And a very small piece. I have the earlier version, which I made a mistake, and this is how it looks like. So that's the interface for the car adapter, and then the 4 screw holes which screws into the screen. So it was very easy for me, and it doesn't feel like a hack job, and I just it was easy to do. And also the car that I'm using in has a USB port on the top of the dashboard, so I could use a very small, very short USB cable just to power the whole thing. So I don't have cables coming from the the cigarette lighter up to the top of the dashboard. So it was very clean install. I really like how it turned out. I've already ordered a shorter black USB cable with a 90-degree USB-C connector, so it's going to be more compact and behind the whole unit, and I think it's going to be more discreet. So obviously your mileage is going to vary, how your car accepts any accessories on the top. So whether you are going to use the provided mount with double-sided tape, or you can also do some sort of like custom mount with something that is comes with a car. And also power is going to be another thing, because usually it is quite difficult to get a power on top of the on top of the dashboard. So yeah, if you want to use it, if you want to do it nice, you might have to just get a cable through the back of the dash, and then have the power coming from down there. But again, I was really lucky that I have the USB port on the top of the dashboard. So I think that pretty much concludes all the basics that I wanted to cover and I wanted to mention. But the basics being already 20 minutes or something like that, so it's not really a short introduction. But if you still want to stick around and you're interested in the details, now I'm going to include the unboxing, so you can see everything that comes in the box, and the initial setup, which is going to be probably another 15 minutes. So you can see the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So if you want to make a very informed purchase decision, you will definitely see all the different options and setup of this device. So once you make a decision, you can be pretty much informed how this product is going to perform with all these small details included. Let me quickly unpack this. Well, besides the box, it just came in this orange Temu plastic. So hopefully this box has enough padding to protect the innards of this device. So you can see the main features here, like CarPlay, AndroidAuto, voice commands, DVR, that's because it can record stuff, focus. And then Bluetooth and reverse image, that's basically the parking sensor. And we have some image here, and then there is more functionality here, so you can see all the things that it can do that we will find out soon. So I think it opens this way. Ugh. Oh, it opens this way. Yeah, so there is enough padding, and just like with everything, the other product that I unpacked as well has a German manual. So this has some German stuff in it as well. So I'm okay with that. And then this looks like the main unit, which I can remove the packaging. Then goes onto the floor. Documentation, we will figure this out, we don't need the documentation. There is a bunch of cables. So this must be the aux cable, so 3.5 millimeter jack. And we have cable to cigarette lighter, that should be USB-C and a right angle, a right angle USB-C. That's actually quite nice. So the cable is not dangling around. And we have the rear view camera as well. So let me unpack because my camera is not happy with all this reflection. So this is the rear view camera. You can see it here, and with some mounts and loads of cable, and it looks like probably this is the video input, and oh no, that must be power, and that's probably like video input. And yeah, and there's some mounting screws and double-sided tape, and that should be the plate to, oh no, this is just double-sided plate under the main thingy. And we have some manual as well, and the manual is well, it's not very detailed, but I guess it doesn't have to be. I mean, it just has to contain the basics in order to connect your phone and do the basic wiring, and after that it's going to be AndroidAuto or CarPlay anyway. So let's unpack the main unit. Oh, okay. So that's how she looks like. Yeah, I suspected it's going to be fairly big, and it is. Where is my phone? Oh, I left it outside. But that's an old iPhone. Is this the iPhone XR or something like that? I don't really know the different iPhone models. So you can see that it's a fairly substantial screen. And we have a camera, which you can move around, so you can adjust it to point, and you can also push it up. So there is a lot of you know, configuration here in terms of, you know, setting the correct camera angle. There is one thing for the mount, so the mount can swivel, and then tighten this up, and that's going to lock the thing in place, and that's how you mount it on the dash, and that's where the double-sided tape goes into. So I would need to adapt it to my car. We'll see how that goes. There is a battery symbol. I'm not sure what that is related to, but there's nothing here. I can see the grill for the speakers, and that's it. That's pretty much it. I don't see the wire connection at the moment, but I probably just have to quickly go through the, no, it's already here. So we have USB-C for power, and we have AV in, so that's for the reversing camera, and we have aux, and we also have an SD card which is installed. I hope it's not a dummy card, because I think my listing said that it comes with an SD card. So let me remove this. Well, 64 gig, a very generic looking SD card. So probably it's a good idea to replace this with something a little bit more. But it really depends on your application, because that will mainly be used by the camera itself. So obviously with smaller camera, you have less amount of recordings before the unit starts to override the oldest recording. Okay, that looks good. Let me set it up and then, you know, see how she works. So I decided I'm going to record the initial setup because I haven't done or haven't worked on such a device yet. So it's going to be interesting for me how this works, and you know, how you set it up with the you know, Android Auto or CarPlay. Not to mention that all the Android Autos and CarPlays I used before, it was always, you know, wired connection. So I'm not really sure about the process, what it takes to get to set up wireless communication. So you know, if you just want to have a general knowledge of this device, maybe you can skip this. But if you decide to purchase it, or you already purchased this and you're not sure how to do it, then I guess it's going to be a relevant section for you. So let me just change this whole screen view so you have the full glory of everything. And also I thought I'm going to set up this camera as well. So it looks like that this connector goes in like that. I wonder if okay, so one of these small screw is missing here, but I might be able to find it in the box. It looks like it just got undone, maybe in shipping. Anyway, I'm not really sure if I end up using the reversing camera, but let's see. Also, it looks like that there would be, you know, by the looks of it, maybe there should have been an additional like shroud here just to protect this connection. It seems to be fairly solid connection, but I'm just wondering in terms of waterproofing it, maybe there should have been another jacket here, but there is nothing here which is missing. So anyway, so this goes into an AV in. So it says AV in. You can't really put the other one because this is 2.5 millimeter jack and the other one is 3.5. So that's the only hole this one goes in. And I'm going to use this USB-C connector, which is connected to this power bank. So we can also see the power draw of this device. So this plugs in like that. And I guess that's it. Oh, by the way, one more bit. Before it powers. Oh, it's already powered on. Anyway, so the only thing I want to say, so this is the adjustment screw. So you just to loosen it and then you can move this base and then you tighten it and then it firms up. So make sure that you don't loosen it too much because then there is like a screw which gets undone, so you can't tighten it. But if this happens to you, there are 4 screws that you can undo and this one mounts off and then you can just, you know, push it from your finger and you can tighten it again. So it's not the end of the world. Okay, so that's the basic view. Okay, so we have a recording which records off the back camera, so that's already working. It has a film on it which I should be able to remove. Should I? I think there is a film on the entire lens assembly. Or maybe not. No, there is a film only on this one. So there is, I can't find a pull tab, so I just do this. And now the colors are not weird. Okay, so that looks good. What did I do? Oh, and I changed the reversing camera. Yay! That's cool. You can change between the 2 cameras by clicking here. I don't know if it probably does recording on both of them. But this seems to be, you know, fairly decent resolution and also very light. I mean, I already have some, you know, ring light here in the room, so it's not very bright here in the room. Okay, so we have CarPlay, audio, Android Auto. Let's deal with that a little bit later. There is an audio out. Okay. So that's one of the other reasons I bought this one, because if you just want to mount it in your car and give it power and not connect to anything else, you can still use the speakers to hear. So let's say you want to use your main radio, you only want to use it for navigation, then I think it is, you know, sufficient that you only have the audio coming out of the speakers. But then, of course, if yeah, you can use either FM or you can use aux. Or you can also use Bluetooth. There is going to be some Bluetooth at some point. How you would get the audio into your main car audio. Again, if you have a really old car, or you just don't want to disassemble to get hold of the aux cable, you can just use FM. That's perfectly fine. FM transmitter has been turned on, and please, okay, you just need to, and of course you have to select a frequency which is not used in your area, but I'm okay with speaker. So this goes back to the main menu, and we have volume, we have brightness, and I assume that there is a setting so this can change automatically. Okay, resolution. I guess that's the resolution of the camera. I'm happy with Full HD. Recording time, so it records in 1 minute segments and then it's going to delete the oldest recording. Audio recording, open, close. I'm not sure that's related to whether it should record audio or not. Auxiliary button, I'm not really sure if that's optional, that's supported here, because there is no mention of any buttons. Okay, so that's again pull mirror black. No idea what that is. Screensaver off, driving position, left-hand drive. Yeah, I guess you can move some of the controls over to the left or right depending on where you drive. Full screen mode, half screen mode. So half screen mode. I think that would be useful once we have the Android Auto. So Android Auto would only occupy half of the screen. I guess that's what. Lane calibration. Okay, so that's for the reversing camera. I guess you can do that based on how you mount the car. How you mount the camera, whether these lines are need to be, moved. I mean, that's nice. It won't be able to, adjust this based on your steering input because it's not really connected to your car. But anyway, language. So for those who are interested in what language are supported, not an awful lot, but I tend to use it in English anyway. Time settings. It's a little bit off, but not too much. No, it's way off. But anyway, I can set this later. Clear connection history. No. Sound touch events. Open, close. No, close. Format. I want to format the SD card. Let's just do that. I don't know, maybe it has some test recordings which I don't want to look at. And okay, that wasn't that bad, to be honest. I thought there's going to be a lot more settings that I need to go through, but okay, resolution. I have to look at the listing whether it actually supports 4K resolution. I think it does. Is there anything? No, it says Full HD. Okay. So let's just leave it in Full HD. So maybe this model, there is a different model which is supplied with a different camera which can do 4K as well. So let's set up with Android Auto. And so it asked me to set up this Bluetooth connection, which I'm going to do. So I go into Bluetooth, and so if this is called F900, and I do pairing, and I have a code which, so it shows that I need to confirm the code, but I'm not really seeing the code here. Usually this screen should also display the code so I can confirm that it's actually the same device. But I don't see that, so I'm just going to select pairing. So I did a little bit of cut, so I move away from my house so you don't see the exact location. But you can see that Waze automatically appeared here. And yeah, I mean, the screen response is really good. As you can see, I can easily scroll, I can easily zoom. So I'm pretty happy with the sort of the resolution and also the speed and the responsiveness of the screen. And I can do, yeah, I can go into the settings. And yeah, this touch screen feels very decent, to be honest. And then I can, yeah, change the alerts. I can, oh, okay. So I can do this dual screen mode, so I can have the navigation on, and I can also do the Spotify. Okay, a little bit of weird thing here. So it looks like that there is a built-in menu here, which is just under the Spotify icon. So if I click that, I get this thing which allows me to switch between the main view and this view. So that's nice, but it just, you know, locking that actual Spotify button, which is a little bit annoying. So I can, you know, change the brightness. So obviously you have to access these screens from time to time. And sound, I can do the audio, and I can do home. That takes me back to the main screen. Okay. Okay, that's some notification I'm not interested about. But yeah, other than that, everything works. So if I go into Spotify, then that's how Spotify looks like. And if I start playing, okay, I'm going to pause this because YouTube is going to flag this anyway. The speakers are definitely tinny, so don't play audio anything on this one. I mean, if you are listening to Spotify, I guess it's fine. For, you know, like audio talk shows, if you're using it for navigation, again, it's fine, but it's not really good for anything else. So really you want to set up the Bluetooth connection sooner or later. But oh, I quite like this interface. I mean, I guess Android Auto works a little bit different if you have such a big screen as opposed to like the phone screen on the phone screen, because on the phone I don't see these you know, multiple panes. So I guess I can close this.
What's the message?
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. So now you can see that there is like a hard, oops, cancel. So you could see that there is like a soft button here. It would be nice if I can move this somewhere else, but I guess that's sort of hard coded. So that's it. Yeah, and I have Spotify here as well. Yeah, good. And I can, yeah, that's my podcast thing that I use. And I quite like the fact that there is enough real estate, so it still shows the navigation besides the other app that you have access to. And by the way, the microphone and everything works as well. So if I do this, what's the weather forecast for today?
Tonight in Budapest, the forecast is around 16 and clear. Right now it's 18 degrees and clear.
Okay, that works perfectly. Okay, well, I disconnected from Android Auto and switched to CarPlay mode. So let's do the same thing in on the iPhone. So I'm going to select this device, and so I'm just going to look for devices in the Bluetooth menu. And I found this one, and I guess it will come up with a pairing number as well, which is not appearing on the screen. So I'm just going to pair, and I have a lot of pop-ups and allow. So it's a little bit complicated to get two devices to work on the same time, because you have to turn off the Bluetooth as well. But I guess that's normal if you are using, if you are using wireless Android Auto. That shouldn't be specific to this device. I mean, even if your car has wireless Android Auto, it would just start connecting to one of the devices, maybe the ones that were used last. So now I have CarPlay running, and just like before, it's, you know, I think it's decently fast. It's definitely usable. I like how I can scroll and zoom. Everything seems to be working fine. I have this overlay button as well, so I can't access the middle button, so I probably just have to use this instead and then go into the various applications that I can access. But yeah, you can see that all of them are here. Let's see how the EV-Links looks like on this big screen. I'm probably just going to have these big buttons if it loads. Maybe it doesn't load today. But yeah, what else do I use on this phone? Not much. I think I have Pocket Cast here as well. Yeah. So user interface, nice. It works. I do like the fact that this big screen, how it, you know, handles Waze, which is our main navigation. So everything is ready by the looks of it. So I think I should get this hooked up to my car, mounted, and then see how she works in a real life situation.